He's built one of the best softball programs in the country. And as an Oklahoma State fan, I'm even more excited about this opportunity. Very excited to have joining us here on the Ten12 podcast, Coach Kenny Gajewski of the Oklahoma State softball program. Coach, welcome to the show.
I appreciate you having me and looking forward to spending a little time.
This one, I'm going to go ahead and just check this one off the bucket list of Oklahoma State coaches that I've had the opportunity or not yet to talk to. Right up there with Coach Boynton, who was great as well. All right, let's start out of the gate with this. Like after 3 straight trips to the Women's College World Series, which I appreciate now that there is some discernment between the men's and women's, you have really established some incredibly high expectations for this program from the outside looking in, from fans, from college softball fans, from those just kind of paying attention. But I mean, inside the program, obviously you've had high expectations and hopes from this program from day one. When do you feel like the switch flipped internally from we have really high hopes for what this can be to we now expect inside this program to be at this level that you're at now?
I think that's a really good question, and I feel like I have a pretty good answer to that. I came in here with high expectations. Those expectations were because of Sandy Fisher, who is our best softball coach that ever coached here, made one of the best ever to coach. So she laid this foundation. We just needed a little bit of TLC. We needed to do some things differently than the way they had been done since she had left here. Unfortunately, I don't feel that people before me respected the tradition and everything that Coach Fisher and her women that she coached built. And the tide really flipped with Sam Shao. When Sam Shao said yes to OSU in the summer of 18, this program that was already on a pretty good trajectory, that trajectory changed even more, and it went a little steeper. And we jumped on Sam Shao's back, not just her back, but like she was, I think you could ask all of our kids, she was the leader. I mean, she was the one that they looked to, they turned to, came through with big hits, big pitching performances. But beating Florida State the year after they won the national title in Tallahassee behind Sam Shao was the turning point. And it propelled us into our first trip to OKC, and ever since. And I can go on and on and on about a list of kids that have joined this program as well. But Sam Shao saying yes to OSU, taking a chance on us, was the turning point.
That leads to a question I had already. I mean, obviously, it's proven you can attract talent to Oklahoma State and to Stillwater, and going to 3 straight trips to Oklahoma City obviously helps that. But like, as you mentioned, you've been attracting talent of the caliber of Sam Shao for a few years now. You have Sam, Carrie Eberly, Allison February. Now you have like Lexi Kilfoy and Rachel Becker. I mean, what is it you think about Oklahoma State and about this program that you've built that has made you so attractive to these, I mean, really top-notch transfers and top-notch players in the sport?
Yeah, I don't particularly have a perfect answer. I think what I can tell you is that Stillwater is a unique place. And if you've been here, you know what I mean. You have to come here to really, truly appreciate the greatness of this town, the greatness of the university, the history, the programs here that are just some of the best of all time in their sports. It's a unique place. We're not a big city. We don't have a fancy mall. We don't have all the great restaurants and all this stuff, but we do have is the best people. We have great facilities. We have great people. More importantly, above the facilities, we have great people inside them. Our former AD, Mike Holder, always talks about like the 2 most important assets that a athletic department has. Number 1 is the student athlete. Number 2 is the coaches. and it's important to keep them both when you have the right people. And so, I think so. What happens is these kids go to different schools because of the name on the chest, period. Blue blood school, name on the chest, conference. They get in there and they're like, man, this is not what I was told. This is not what I was promised. And then they decide they want to make a move. And I'm hopeful that they remember old Coach G over here who told them all this stuff in the first place. But they're seeing our success. They're seeing how much fun that we have here. Look, there's a lot of ways to win. We do ours way different than a lot of other schools. But I can tell you this, our kids have fun and they respect each other. The relationships are real. These kids see that. We now have proof in the pudding that I can go to and say, hey, instead of you hearing this from me, why don't you reach out to Sam Chow? Why don't you reach out to so-and-so and get what they have to say? Because they're going to be honest. Like in the end, these student athletes, they will be honest. They will tell recruits what they like and what they don't like. And so I would rather them hear that up front, know it, and go, you know what? I'll take it. And so I think that's why we've had the success of some of these transfers. We've also had some really good freshmen. And you can see on this current team, we're playing about 5 freshmen pretty routinely. And it's really cool to see.
There's so much there I want to address. First off, the people you talk about, look, the energy in this team is palpable. It has been for quite a while. I mean, you feel it in the fan base as well. I mean, that excitement, especially on game day, that whole field is you can feel the energy coming off of it, even if you're just watching on TV. I want to ask this. You said, we hear all the time about coaches make promises, coaches say things in recruiting to get them on campus. And then, it's not always the same thing. I'm curious from you, what do you feel like are the promises that recruits hear from Oklahoma State that you guys deliver on?
Well, one of the things we talk about is under promise and over deliver. So that's a term I've used since day one. I used it with Sydney Pennington on about June 16th, 2015, when I got this job. And I was sitting here in my office with her and her parents, and I was re-recruiting her because she had opened her commitment back up once they had made a coaching change here. And I told them, hey, I'm not going to make you a bunch of promises. I'm not going to promise you that you're going to play shortstop. I'm not going to promise you that. I will promise you that I'll love you to death. Like, I will love you. I will coach you. I will help you in any way. And if you say yes to us, you have me forever. I will do anything as long as you are part of the Cowgirl way. I've got you. I mean, you're mine and I'm yours forever. And so, that's one of the things we talk about. I tell them, you'll get better. You'll have that opportunity every day to get better. You'll have the opportunity every day to start. Your scholarship matters nothing to me. It was the value at the time that we put on you. And it doesn't mean that we don't think, because you're on 25% versus 75, that we don't think that you're this and this. That's the value of your position. And that's what it is. But when you walk through our door each day, I look at you as part of our team. And I look at you as, hey, she has to earn what she gets every single year. If you don't like your role, change it. Like, that's under your control. And so there's not a bunch of promises here. I can promise you that you'll have fun if you choose to have fun. I can promise you that softball here won't dominate your whole life. I can promise you that. And you can talk to any of our kids. These kids have a life outside of here, and we encourage that. I know that if they're happy off our field, on the field, they usually play pretty dang well.
We've talked about the transfers who come in. You've gotten some big names, but I mean, if you look through this roster, and if you go back to this roster from the moment you took over, like, you see a lot of Oklahoma. You get a lot of kids from within the state who come in here and develop into, stars. How much of that is credit to the program that you have, and how much of that is credit to there's just really good softball players in the state?
Yeah. I have very little to do with Rachel Becker hitting 500. Like, she hit 480 last year. Okay. Like, we've hardly even messed around with her. I think we've got her better in the infield, without a doubt. She's turned into maybe one of the best second basemen, if not the very best in the country. She's a shortstop who just from day one has said, "Hey, just tell me where you want me. It's where I'll go." And so I don't get too caught up in these kids. Look, the kids that come here, they're elite. So it's just trying to get them some incremental growth, some growth on the field, off the field. Most importantly, leadership growth. That's one of our main focuses, is that you're a great teammate and that you can lead, and everybody leads in a different way. And it's really cool to watch all of this happen. But look, we have a really good coaching staff here. We have a tremendous amount of support here, whether I think we may be the only school in the country that has a strength coach that is full-time softball only. Player development, we've added that. All these GAs and managers that are running around here trying to help you. We've got it pretty good here. So we like to just kind of let them kind of ease their way in, figure out that we're here to help them. I think as coaches, we work each day to gain their trust. And once we gain that trust, these kids just seem to take off. And it's been really cool to see. I'm very thankful that these kids choose us. More importantly, I'm very thankful that they come in here and immerse themselves into the Cowgirl way and just live that. And it's really cool to see.
You mentioned your freshman class. Look, it's hard to miss Kyra Aycock, as good as she's been as a true freshman for you. I mean, you put her right into a starting spot. I mean, you've got 3 pitchers, and I think they're all absolutely incredible. I mean, look, Kelly Maxwell is here this year. She's said publicly that she'll be back next year's year. Well, so I mean, you got to feel pretty good about that. But how much does Kyra kind of feel the pressure of, I think outside the program, the view is this is Maxwell's kind of replacement coming forward. Does she feel that pressure? What is that? How's that mindset inside the program?
Yeah, I don't think any of us are trying to replace anyone, to be very honest. I think that could be a natural thought, but nobody inside here's even echoed those words. I would never, that's not fair to anyone. I want Kyra to be the best version of her. She's gotten so much better here already.
Mm-hmm.
It is crazy. This is not the same kid who walked in here day one, and she's like a sponge. And when she just pitches and not try to throw 100 miles an hour, she is special. And she's special in her own way. And Kilfoyle the same way. She's different than what she walked in here as. And it's really cool to see. And so look, this freshman class is really good, but the only thing that they hear is just be the best of you. I don't need you to be Kylie Naomi. I don't need you to be Sydney Pennington. I don't need you to be whoever. Like, you be you. And that's good enough. That's why we recruited you, because we thought you were really dang good.
That's awesome. Obviously, with success, comes investment. We see this across sports. When a team starts to continue to improve on the field and get better, you start to see an athletic department spend. We've talked with Coach Cindy Ball Malone about what UCF has been doing for their program as they've continued to see success. Oklahoma State kind of teased some things that they want to work on in the future, including a new softball stadium. I mean, up to this point, how much have you seen the athletic department, both previous AD Coach Holder and now your new athletic director, and the emphasis and importance put on this softball program as it continues to build and build?
Yeah, I mean, no coach is ever satisfied on the outside, but if you kind of cut my chest open and peeled it back, I think I would tell you I'm very pleased with what we've done up to this point. Do we need a new stadium? Probably. Is it going to make us win more? Nope. Does it show a commitment to the outside? Yeah. I think our school is committed 1,000% to softball. Yes. Like, so you see what I mean? It's like this. I mean, yes. Do I want a new stadium? Yes. Do our kids want it? Of course. Do we need more seats? Yes. More bathrooms? Yes. A better indoor, a film room, a team room, all this kind of stuff, right? We need it, but I think we've shown that we can win here. And so when that time comes, we will take it. But I've said this a bunch here since the announcement of the stadium. Stadiums can be a curse as well, because I think us as coaches look at these things and go, we take this big sigh and go, we made it. We finally got this. And you take this deep breath. And while you're taking that breath, there's some young hotshot coach that's passing you. And I don't want that to happen. So if I had to take a stadium over sustainable success, I'll take the sustainable success without a doubt. And we'll just keep having a chip on our shoulder and proving everybody wrong. And it just is what it is. And we love what we have. We love who's inside here. And I don't want to change that. If you're going to put some more bricks and mortar around me or build us a new place, great. But I don't want to sacrifice the people, the budget, any of that kind of stuff for a new stadium.
The deck on the backside of the stadium that was built by fans has continued to grow and grow and grow. And it's become one of the coolest things in softball to me, just to have this thing that fans started that the university has bought in on. First off, how does the team view that? How cool is that to have back there, to have the fans so invested in this program that they'd said, we want to do this cool thing. And the school said, go ahead.
Yeah. So I'll give you the Cliff Notes. They started by backing up trucks. And we had trucks that were backed up all over that place. And then the school, and then I think somebody might have fallen out of a truck having a little too much fun. And so they built these little wooden stands that they put all the way around there. And then we went through this beautification project where they really beautified the area behind our field. And they said, no more trucks, no more decks. And so I went to Coach Holder and I said, this is not fair, man. Like this, we have created this atmosphere. And he said, hey, we're already working on it. We're going to build actual decks. And you guys have created this organically. Like nobody forced us. These were fans that just wanted to be inside, couldn't be inside, found an awesome area, made it work. So we're going to take care of them. And so we built the first 2 decks. Last year, we built the 3rd deck that is the size of both of the other decks out in right center field. They're sold out. It's wild. Our kids love it. You see us after wins, they'll run out there and shake everyone's hand. I didn't start that. I mean, it's them. It's those fans, the social, the Outlaws. They've got fan names and they've got Twitter handles and Facebook pages. It's about as cool as it gets. And it's just a really neat experience, to see that. So our girls love it. They play along. And honestly, if I was an opposing team, instead of complaining and crying about our fans out there, I just embrace it and have fun. Like they're not mean. Are they relentless? Yep. It's a cowgirl way. It's relentless. And so they have fun, but if you'll have fun back, like I've seen them invite left fielders' parents to the deck, opposing teams, and have a blast. Like, come on, like it's a great experience. And we kind of have a couple different things that are going on inside our facility. We have the decks that it's like a different experience, right? It's more of a party. And then you have the people inside that are really there sitting down watching a game. So you can have whatever that you want to have, experience whatever you want to experience, and just have a blast.
If you can get tickets, of course. That's always a
yeah.
tough part.
Call me. I'll help you.
I have heard to the decks affectionately referred to as the gift shop because of all the home runs that get hit out of the field and dropped to the fans out there, which I think is just it's so good.
It's great.
That's awesome. So the Big 12 obviously will be expanding this summer, adding 4 new teams, 3 of which BYU, Houston, and UCF, which will be bringing softball programs to the Big 12 as well. You obviously had UCF here they're in Stillwater this season. I mean, how do you view these additions coming into the Big 12 and how that's going to help the Big 12 moving forward?
Oh, I think it's great. Obviously it'll hurt to lose OU and Texas RPI wise. I love those games. Hopefully we'll still play them. I mean, I don't know. I haven't been told. We've been pretty open about, hey, we'd like to play. Haven't really heard anything back, so I'm not sure how that works and how that'll work, but we want to play. I think it's the right thing to do for the state of Oklahoma and right now for softball, the game. But we'll see. Like I think adding UCF and BYU and Houston, we're going to get in some different markets, play in front of some different people. UCF and BYU have been in regionals a bunch. Very seeded them a lot. We played Houston a bunch over my years here. I think it'll help them as well with their recruiting and what they can do. I think that they can build a pretty good program there, being in the conference. They have a nice facility. So I'm excited. I love that we're going to have more conference games. We're not going to have a bye week now because we're going to have, at least the first year while OU and Texas, I guess, are still in our league. It's kind of a weird thing to be honest. But there's part of me that's like, I wish they'd just leave, you know what I mean? So they could move on and we could figure out how this would work. But I'm just a softball coach, so I don't have much say.
You get 1 season with 10 teams, then you'll move to 8 moving forward. I had not heard the no bye week, so that's good to know. As for Bedlam, look, this has become one of the biggest rivalries in college softball. You've got 2 teams that, 1 and 2, depending upon the ranking. I think it's 1 and 3 at D1 softball right now. But you've got a 3-game series coming up at the end of the regular season, and 2 of those games are on ESPN and ESPN2. This is becoming a must-watch series. I think it would absolutely be a disservice, not just to the state of Oklahoma, but to college softball, to not see Oklahoma and Oklahoma State playing each other on a regular annual basis.
I agree.
So hoping that cooler heads prevail in that sense and that we continue to see that in some shape or form. Speaking to that, obviously you're going to lose Oklahoma and Texas. It's going to impact RPI. You're going to bring in a little more depth to the conference. You have 8 teams, permanently moving forward as opposed to 7. How is that going to affect the way that you guys schedule a non-conference? You guys do a fantastic job. You go out to Florida every year to the Clearwater Invitational, which is absolutely fantastic. We've seen 3-game series against Florida State this year. You had UCF and Arizona State come to town on face Missouri. You guys schedule up clearly. Taking midweek road games to UCA and Wichita State, those are regional teams. But how do you view the new teams coming in and the changing of the conference schedule impacting how you set up your non-conference schedule?
No, we're going to go play an awesome non-conference schedule. I want to play the best schedule in the country. It's a little daunting in January because you don't really know where you're at. You think but you don't know. We've went out and played the best schedule in the country or right there this year. We've tried to do that each year. A lot of that depends on how the teams that you play, how they perform afterwards. So there's a lot that's kind of not in your hands, but we're going to go play teams. We're going to go to Clearwater every year that they'll have us. We're going to stay next year. After Clearwater, we're going to stay in Tampa and play South Florida and Washington and a couple other teams. I want to play games, and I want to know where our team's at. I'm not caught up in rankings. I'm not caught up in outside opinions. I'm caught up in, I want to find out where we're deficient and what we need to do to get better to perform the first week of June.
A couple more questions, and I'm going to let you go, Coach. Just kind of about softball in general. Obviously, rules changes continue to come, and there's now going to be the opportunity for a third full-time paid coach. Is that something that Oklahoma State is looking at investing in moving forward?
We've just kind of had some preliminary talks. Oklahoma State's in on everything. They have been. We have been. So when the season's over, we'll kind of have those direct conversations. But I haven't really even focused on that at this point. And I don't really have an answer to that yet, but we're competitive. So we'll be in that mix. I think it's a great rule. I think it's needed. It's unique in a way. I think we could have kept it the way it was, to be honest, but allowed the volunteer to recruit and do everything that another coach could. So we'll see. I don't know that this is the best answer to our problems, but we'll see. It'll just, I don't think a lot of schools are going to fund that third coach, to be honest. I hear all these schools saying yes, but I think that's a lot of talk.
So I have one bone to pick with college softball, and I want your opinion on this. Had a conversation with Eric Lopez, who covers UCF and hosts the In the Circle podcast. When it comes to the selection committee and it comes to the RPI, they have their quad system, the quad 1, 2, 3, and 4. And doing a little math, came to realize that quads 1 through 3 are just the top 100, which leaves another 206 Division I programs considered quad 4 games, which to me is, I don't know, a little bit insulting to say that more than, almost 2/3 of all of D1 college softball is not good. RPI, we can debate how good it is as far as a measuring metric when it comes to determining the postseason. I'm curious from your standpoint, kind of how you view the way the NCAA sets up the postseason. Do you think it's fine the way it is? If there's something that you would change, what would that be?
I wouldn't change the way they make it happen. I do have a change I'll make. I'll get to that. But look, you have to reward teams that go play teams. Mm-hmm. Schedule strength to me is huge. I think that's a big deal. I like, the first thing I do when I scout an opposing team is I look at their schedule and I count the teams that I would say, okay, regional teams or have a chance or, try to schedule good. And it's embarrassing at times to see some of these win totals and then to go back and look who they beat. Okay. Like, I don't think I just don't subscribe to the fact of buying wins. I think you have to go earn wins. And if you want to play in the postseason, go schedule. If you want to host a regional, go schedule. If you don't say you want all that and then schedule teams from 150 down where you have 15 or 20 of those games. I get that some of those schools don't have budgets like ours, but there's a lot of teams that are 100 down that just refuse to go play good teams. It doesn't, to me, like, winning is not the only thing. It's, are you willing to take your team into a tough environment and go play? So I don't really have a problem with the way it's done. Part of the reason I don't have a problem is that I don't want to be on that committee, right? So don't complain unless you're willing to be on that and make change. So I just stay out of it. The one thing I would change is when the super regionals are done, we need to reseed, because if somebody gets upset, that's awesome, but that doesn't make you the number 1 seed. Like, if somebody upset OU, they shouldn't be the number 1 seed. They should be wherever they kind of fall. And if it's 2 or 8, that's what it is. And I think that's the way we should go about that. But other than that, you know what? If people don't like it, get on committees and make change. Otherwise, shut your mouth and just do what it said. And that's kind of the way I go about it. I'm the same way on rules. Like, they want you to be on all these rules things. I'm like, I don't want to be on that stuff. I don't have enough time. Like, I'm trying to win games and help our team and do the things here. And so, like, I'm good. Just tell me what the rules are and we'll play by those rules.
Look, I'm happy to accept the invitation. If someone wants to put me on the committee, I would be happy to help and select the teams for the postseason. I will put my time and money where my mouth is. Not a problem. Coach, you have been absolutely fantastic. I really do thank you for donating your time to us today. You guys have you're at home this weekend.
Yep.
If I'm correct, man, I'm trying to sick kid get a little bit sleep deprived. You guys are home against Iowa State this weekend, which is very exciting. I fully expect to see Oklahoma State hosting a regional this year. I think I just ran out of a way to wrap this. So I'm gonna tell you, thank you so much, Coach. Really appreciate your time today.
I appreciate you guys, what you guys do. You guys are getting great people on here, not including me, and it's cool to see, and it's really neat to see how much time and resources are being put into this sport. It's captivating. It's exciting. It's addictive. It is just a great game, and I'm lucky to be a part of this, and I'm thankful that you asked me to come on here.